my iPhone is.
Welcome. I'm Miss Richardson.
And I am Miss Hines. And we're excited to have you guys here tonight because we're going to be reading a story together and completing an activity that is kind of tied to what we're going to learn in our story, or at least a little tied to it. So let's get started. Lily, can you hear us?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, so the story we're reading tonight is called The Camping Trip That Changed America. And it's kind of tied to some history of the United States. It's involves Theodore Roosevelt and John Muir and our national parks. Thumbs up if you've ever been to a national park. And
Actually, I haven't.
really? How do you get coins?
My grandma bought them for me, and so now we just collect them, and like we are on a lookout for wherever, like whenever we get quarters.
Oh, for the quarters, got it.
Yeah.
I found them all. I knew it was you. All right. So these are our two characters, and these are actual people from our American history. So should I move my camera? No, it's fine. All right, so they call them T.D. and Johnny, and they didn't have much in common, but they did share a love of the outdoors. So they both loved a good story too, and that was enough to change America. So let's figure out how these two and their friendship changed the America we know today. So this is just a little bit of background about Theodore Roosevelt. His family called him TD since he was a young boy, and he grew up in one of the oldest, richest families. So he had lots of money in New York City. TD was short and brawny with a fashionable mustache, and he loved the outdoors. So he liked to hunt and fish and ride horses. I know somebody that likes to do all three of those things, and he is in this room tonight. Ricardo. Yeah, so he attended law school before becoming a politician, and then eventually he became a president. Theodore Roosevelt was the youngest president of the United States, and he lived with his wife and his 6 children in the White House.
Wow, 6.
And this is our other character, John Muir. John Muir's family had called him Johnny since he was a boy. He grew up in the Midwest, so not quite as far east as Teddy Roosevelt. Johnny was tall, thin, and quiet. Lots of great adjectives, guys. With shaggy hair that curled into a long beard. Do you guys see his beard? It was curly and shaggy. He hiked the American wilderness alone. Oh my goodness. That's kind of scary, but also adventurous. He became the world famous naturalist and protector of wild places with a special love for the Yosemite wilderness near his farmhouse in California. So we're super lucky because Yosemite is just a couple hour drive, and we can see all of the beautiful scenery in Yosemite if you guys ever had a chance. So we know he becomes the president, and on May 15th, 1903, when he is out campaigning for his presidency, the train reaches the end of the line in a small town of Raymond, California, about 30 miles outside of the Yosemite wilderness. When he found men sending his baggage to the best hotel in town, Roosevelt shouted, "By George, I'm going camping. Pack me one of them small sacks." Along with a crowd of officials, townspeople, newspapermen, and photographers, John Muir waited to meet the president.
So he wanted to be out in the wilderness instead of in the hotel?
Yes. He was like, "Do not take me to some fancy hotel. I'm only 30 miles away from Yosemite. I'm going camping." Do you guys see John Muir in the background? He's right here. maybe he was like, I go camping. I go camping all the time. Teddy shook Johnny's hand, or TD, sorry. TD shook Johnny's hand. I've enjoyed your stories, Mirror. The president spoke a few words to the crowd. Then he joined Mirror in a waiting stagecoach. They bumped along the road to Yosemite. Another stop. More speeches. Remember, he's trying to get people to vote for him so that they can vote him as president. Mirror was growing impatient. Didn't the president want to see the wilderness? Then Roosevelt's voice boomed. Enough pictures, folks. I'd like to see the rest of this country in peace. The president sent his men ahead to set up camp, leaving the shocked crowd behind. T and Johnny rode off alone. So he was done taking all those pictures. He's like, you guys, I'm done. And then he says, I feel like a runaway schoolboy. He laughed as his horse trotted and galloped. There he is.
Have any of you ever horseback rode? Anybody ever been on a horse? A couple times? Oh, so freeing.
I was very scared.
Once I rode on a horse and once I rode on a donkey.
Oh,
wow.
Nice. So this picture is pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever been there. Thumbs up if you have. But this is, they stopped near a here, I'm going to have to scoot back. See how big the page is? So they stopped near a family of giant sequoias in the Mariposa Grove, surrounded by trees of this ancient forest. For once, he was quiet. When he looked up, he couldn't see the treetops. The sequoias soared straight into the heavens. That's great. They're not really in heaven, but that's how high they looked. That he made it seem like they were in the heavens. These trees grew up when the Egyptians built the pyramids, said Johnny. They are the largest living things on Earth. They never stop growing unless they're cut down. Oops. Yeah. So remember, Ricardo, what are they doing? Are they going to a hotel or are they going to go camping?
They're going camping.
They're going camping. So let's watch this next one and let's pay close attention. That night, do you guys see them down here? The fire. And then here's what they're telling stories about. That night, under the branches of the towering sequoias called the Grizzly Giant, Titi laid on the 40 thick wool blankets his men prepared. That's a lot of blankets. Johnny made a bed of some branches and wrapped himself in an old cloth for his sack. He told Titi the funny story of meeting his first bear. I don't know about you, but that is not funny to me. He said, I once saw a bear in a meadow. Now bears are shy creatures. So I jumped in front of him behind a tree and just to see him run away. So he scared the bear.
Oh,
the bear looks up. I ran toward him shouting and waving. I finally stopped. Or I finally stopped, or I would have run right into him. The bear rose up, put his claws on a log between us, and glared. I'd made a big mistake about shy bears. I had to stand perfectly still for hours, or I would have been his dinner. Finally, the bear rambled off, checking back over his hind end to make sure I stayed put. That bear and I were both scared and embarrassed. But I tell you, it was the bear that had the better manners. Yeah, right? Because he didn't go run up to him. So in our story, you guys we can read a little bit afterwards, but we do want to do our activity. So in our story, you'll notice that they go on a really great adventure together. So they go all through the scenic, I guess, what would you call these, like scenic areas of California?
Yeah.
And all around they're camping, right? So it's a big camping trip that they take together, and they go to, they're telling stories about how all of these landforms came to be.
And we can visit those landforms still. That's why this is so
Yeah.
cool.
It's super cool. One day they even get stuck in the snow. Do you see they fall asleep, and when they wake up, it's all white. Everything was white, covered in 5 inches of snow.
Oh my goodness.
So this is a really cool place. This is Yosemite Valley, and this one's not very far. People actually climb Half Dome and El Capitan, they call it. It's super cool. There are lots of documentaries of rock climbers who will scale these big rocks. So they go camping and they sleep, and they tell stories. But all the while they're camping all across America, really. So it's super cool. And here's the important thing. So TD left Johnny in Yosemite and headed back home. His time in the forest turned the outdoor-loving president into one of nature's fiercest protectors. Roosevelt pushed Congress to pass laws saving the wilderness. He failed at first, but that didn't stop him. He created national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and national forests. With John Muir's spirit as his guide, Theodore Roosevelt saved more wild land than any president in history. Very cool. So we have him and John Muir to think of. John Muir's passion for the wilderness and camping and being outdoors, and his intelligence and maybe his tenacity for not giving up and sticking up for something that really doesn't have a voice. Nature doesn't have a voice, and someone really has to be the voice of nature. So let's get started with our activity, okay?
Great story, Miss Jaime.
All right, so now the fun part. You guys, here's what we're going to make. I'll show you. So in our story, they're camping and they're sightseeing, and they're looking at all of the different landforms in America. And at night, they are camping. So it's pretty cool. We're gonna create a scene of the day and a scene of the night, just like John Muir and Theodore Roosevelt experienced on their camping trip across America. Okay, so you guys have all of your materials, and you should have half of a paper plate and a whole paper plate. This little thing right here, you see it? We're gonna poke it in the middle of our paper plates. Do it carefully. Make sure that you poke it into the half paper plate and the entire big one. Careful, Lily. I feel like
I didn't get that one.
You didn't get a brad?
No.
oh no.
If you have a paper clip around, that might work too.
We can get you one tomorrow. So I just use my scissors, and I poked it through. See, it's pretty.
Careful. Oh, there it is. It went through.
And then you're gonna put your brad in, and then, oops, it fell off. And then in the back, you have to open it up. Yeah, Ricardo's mom got it. She's going faster than I am. Perfect. So now we have our foundation for our scene that we're going to create, okay? So, oh, mine's crooked. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna have to we're gonna color half of it with the blue sky, and then the other half, we're gonna color it with the night sky, okay? So this part should be pretty quick because you don't have to be neat about it. You can just kind of scribble your backgrounds. So I'm going to scribble very quickly. See how fast it is? I'll race you, Ricardo. Lily, you can still do this part with us. Just make sure that you leave us, you do half of your paper, okay? Half of your paper plate.
I found.
There it is.
Oh, perfect. So you gotta poke it through the half paper plate and the whole paper plate. Don't do just one. Oh no, Ricardo is beating me.
And then stick the half paper plate on top as well. This is intense.
I'm almost all the way around this guy. All right. So once we have our sky colored, I won. We're going to put this one back down under, and then we're going to color our night sky. What color is the night sky usually? Black, right? It's really dark. So in your little crayons, get our, oops, our night sky. Oops. And remember, we're not coloring the half paper plate.
Mm-hmm. Just color the paper plate, the big one, the whole one.
I don't know how to do how to put in the circle thing. Just don't go through the plate.
Just
So-
yeah, dig it in.
Yeah, with your scissors, Lily, just try and poke the half, both of them. They have to both be poked like in the same spot, so that the little brad, it's called a brad, so that it can be go through the same hole.
Yeah, you got it.
Nice. And then you open those up in the back, so that way it doesn't fall off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and color this in a little bit neater, but after I show you guys how to make the tree and the tent, okay? Because right now it's really sloppy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's 12 times 5?
Oh yeah, let's show your things. 12 times 5 is, I don't know, I'm a humanities teacher.
I was waiting for them to do it.
Lily, what's 12 times 5?
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's count it out together. 5, 10, 50. Well, we know 50. That's 10. 55, 60, right?
60, good.
I was about to say 63.
Are we
No,
recording this?
I know. Horrible. That's okay. There's 63 coins that can be collected. So that means there's 60 national parks at least that have been like deemed sacred, right? And really a great place to check out.
The sanctuaries.
Yeah, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have a lot of collecting to do.
So if you guys ever look on the quarters at the back, can you zoom, like, can you show
Yeah,
it?
I'm going to show you one. Let's do, what'd you say you went through? Yosemite, look at this one, is Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know if you can see him. He's on his horse. I don't know, the lighting's kind of bad.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
So yeah, this one is for the national park in North Dakota. And it's
Nice.
Theodore Roosevelt on his horse.
Miss,
Yes, Ricardo?
I used to have a lot of quarters.
Did you have any of the quarters with the national parks on them?
I didn't know because I didn't look at them.
Oh, I bet you now you're gonna be looking. Every time you get a quarter, you're gonna check it out and see, is
Yep.
this a national park?
Yeah,
Because
and
I had
collect them.
I had a lot of them.
You could say, hey, Miss Richardson, do you have this quarter?
And then like if we have doubles, we could trade.
Yeah. All right. So once you guys have done your, what is this called? Your scheme, so your background. Look at mine's crooked. You have your day, and then you have your night. Okay. They needed a place to stay. John Muir liked to just sleep out in the open, but Teddy Roosevelt was like, all right, I need somewhere to sleep. So we're gonna make a tent. In order to make the tent, you're gonna put both of your red paper and your purple paper, put them and try and like match a corner together, okay? And then we're gonna make a triangle. Easiest way I can think of to do this is just by cutting. So we have our point of our triangle, and then we're going to cut across, okay? And then we have 2 triangles. So depending on what color you want your tent to be, it can be a purple tent or a red tent. You have to cut open a door to get into, okay? So right here, we're gonna cut open a door. So we're just gonna cut one of these. I want my tent to be red. So I'm gonna cut open a little tiny door. And then, oh, my door's crooked. That's okay.
So you do that just by cutting one slit, like barely halfway up.
Yeah, don't go all the way up. Here is my door. Did you get that, Lily?
So when you
So
cut the
here's how they
slit,
get in.
both flaps will pop open.
I cut the door completely out.
That's okay. The bears are gonna get in though. All right, so at the bottom, you're going to take out your glue stick. Don't glue the whole triangle, okay? You're only gonna glue maybe like 1/4 of an inch. Here, let's put it on our actual, let's glue it onto our half paper plate. You're gonna put a little bit of glue. Let me do that again. You're gonna put a little bit of glue on your half paper plate.
It's right at the edge right there, because it's going to kind of sit above the paper plate, the half part.
Yeah. So it's gonna sit right on top. This is just my tent, and now I have to glue my door on top, okay? So for this one, you are gonna glue the whole triangle. You doing it right? Can you see it, Mr. Richardson?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so I'm gonna glue the triangle, leave a little bit of space open so that your door can open. And then you can put your red on top or your purple, depending on what color your tent was. Okay, so then here's my tent.
Looks good.
All right. Now they were camping and they saw these huge trees. He said they were so tall, they were almost touching the heavens. Do you guys remember that? You remember?
Remember what kind of trees they were called?
Yeah, what were they called?
Sequoia trees?
Yeah, both of you got it. Yeah, sequoia trees. So now we're gonna try and make a sequoia tree, and it's gonna be right next to our tent, okay? So we're going to take our brown square and our green square.
Are we working on the knife?
We just kind of scribbled it, Lily, just really quickly.
The other half.
And then the night, yeah. And then the other half is blue for the daylight sky. All right. Okay, so now let's make our sequoia, our giant sequoia tree. So we're going to use the green and the brown. So for this one, we need a big, I kind of want to do like a big trunk, but it might be taller than my, so I'm just going to cut like a tree trunk.
Do 2 rectangles. Like, it could just be extremely big, obnoxiously big.
Over my paper plate scene.
Yeah.
I have my tree trunk. You guys see it? Oh, you can't see it. And then I'm going to glue it again. I'm gluing it on the half paper plate. Okay, don't glue anything on your background because we want it to be able to move around. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my paper plate. I feel like that's the easiest thing.
Looks good, Lily.
And then I'm going to put my tree right there. So my tree is missing branches and leaves and stuff. So we're going to make a bigger triangle this time because the sequoias are huge. They're super, super high. So for this one, I am going to maybe cut a triangle out of my green paper. And I want it to be big. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's huge. Let's see yours, Ricardo. Mine's gonna go off the page because look how big the sequoia has to be. It has to be big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna glue this onto my brown paper. So I'm gonna put the glue on the brown paper so that I don't miss the green. And I'm just gonna go right up at the top right here of my brown paper. Put enough so it doesn't fall off when you're spinning.
Ricardo has a wide sequoia.
That's okay. You can try again.
Yeah, there's a lot of green paper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Looks like se mira como una flecha. Looks like an arrow. All right. Let's see yours, Lily. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Now we have to figure out which one's the night and which one's the day. So of course, we're gonna need a moon in the night sky,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to need a sun in the day sky. Okay, so you guys have 2
You do
yellow
have.
pieces. Oh, that would be weird. Could you imagine if half of the sky was dark and half of the sky was like day? All right, so we're gonna make a moon, okay? So a moon is just kind of, I'm gonna make this moon right here, the crescent moon. Yeah, kind of like a smiley face. So if you're doing it like, think of a happy face. So let's try it out. I'm just gonna cut it. I'm not even gonna trace it because why not? Let's be creative. So I'm gonna do like a half circle first,
Yeah.
like that. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna just make a moon. Oh, see?
That's great.
Perfect.
Lily,
Lily,
Lily's
yours
like, nope, let me try again.
Here's like a fingernail. All right, so this is gonna go onto your big paper plate. This is part of your background scenery, okay? So I'm going to glue my yellow moon. Oh, I almost did it in the day sky. That would have been funny.
Make
Okay,
sure you
so
glue it
make
on
sure
the
it's
flat.
Yeah, and then, oh man, my moon is huge. That's okay. Looks great.
It's good.
So let's make it a sleeping moon so we know that it's nighttime. How do they make it a sleeping moon? So you do like a little. There we go. And Moon's asleep.
Oh, let me see those eyes again. Oh, those are cool. Yeah.
Looks good, Lily. Half moon.
Half moon, that's fine.
That works too. You can also make a circle, make it a full moon. There you go. I just think this is funny because it looks like a smiley face.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
still cutting. Every time I cut, I just go under it like that.
Oh. All right.
It's like a,
Ready?
don't turn in so much.
Am I going too fast? That looks great.
They're okay.
All right. I think Ricardo's drawing the face on his moon.
Hmm.
And then we're going to do a sun. We're going to do the sun in the daylight sky. And they got really creative.
It looks like they double stacked it or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But it's one page.
Huh.
All right, so on this is our night sky, and let's go to our day sky. Okay, we're missing the sunlight in our day sky, so we have another one. And how can we do this? Let me try something really quick. Because if they don't cut a perfect square, it's not going to work.
Ah.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Magic. All right, so we're going to fold our second yellow paper, fold it, and then we're going to cut out 2 squares. Okay, so we're just going to cut 2 squares. Okay, you have 2 squares, and then you're going to cross them, and it's going to look like a sun. Oh, that one doesn't look too good. Then it's going to look like a sun. Okay,
Mhm.
we got to glue these together. So I'm going to glue the yellow on top of the other yellow, but it's going to cross in the middle. So like this.
One's like a diamond, sort of. You have to rotate it
Yeah.
a few degrees.
Yeah, that looks really good, Ricardo.
Great, Lily.
Lily, you got it. And then we're going to put it in our sky right here. Boom. Sun.
That's cool.
Let there be light. Okay. And then you can glue this. Onto your sky. And you can decorate your sun with red, or I'm going to do orange. Let's do orange and red.
I think my sun's a little bit too big.
Ooh, it's really bright outside where you're at.
Yeah. They're going to get a good tan.
Suntan. Yep.
I just colored the peaks, or like the little points, and then I'm going to put a circle in there as a guide. We'll see if it works. My circle might not be perfect, but that's okay. Okay. There you go.
That came out nice.
All right. And then when I was younger, I would always put sunglasses on my sun. I don't know why.
That's
but
what
that
I'm
was like the cool thing to do.
Yeah. That was definitely a thing.
Like, I really don't know why we would do that. So here's
Every time.
He's cool.
Yep.
He's like, what's up, guys? Are you enjoying your camping trip?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we made our scenery, guys, and it matches our story. You can maybe draw Theodore Roosevelt, maybe John Muir, to remind you of why you created this little scene, and remind yourself that they were two explorers and adventurous who really enjoyed nature, and they protected it for us.
Yeah.
So now we can enjoy it. All right.
When you're done, let's take a picture. I'll screenshot it of your finished product. You ready? You're gonna do half-half? Okay, ready? Smile. 1, 2, 3. Sweet.
The guy that you stuck out your tongue.
Did he?
Yeah, he goes.
Oh, on this side.
All right, guys. I hope you guys had fun. Thank you for joining us and reading about the camping trip that changed America. Hopefully this little activity was fun for you guys. You actually got to cut things and glue things and color things. It's very different from what we do in humanities, but I love doing crafts like this. It's super, super fun.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow morning.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Okay.